Old Testament summary. We start with creation and early humanity. This is Genesis 1 to 11. We know that God gave the first couple only one restriction, and that is not to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. One restriction out of the many privileges, but they willfully disobeyed. And we know the story. Because of the fall of Adam and Eve, Genesis chapter 5 verse 1 says that everyone comes from that parent. So we all inherited sin. And in Genesis chapter 12, suddenly from their creation, God narrowed the focus to one family, the family of Abraham. And from Abraham, he determined to bless the whole world through this man, through his family, the patriarch. We can read just that in Genesis 12 to 50. God calls Abraham and promised him land, seed, and blessings. And from his family, from Abraham was born Isaac, and from Isaac, Jacob, and from Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. And that 70 people who went to Egypt developed into great nation, developed into millions of people. So after that is the Exodus and the giving of the law. The once privileged group of people in Goshen, in the best place of Egypt, now is no longer privileged, but under slavery. And because of the hand of God, he raised a man that will deliver his people in the life of Moses. So this we heard about the Exodus, and we can read this in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, that they were taken out of Egypt. Supposedly, they will only have a 11-day journey into the promised land, but the 11-day journey ended up into 40 years of wandering. And then, Moses died, Joshua took the mantle, the leadership, and he is the one who led the people to enter the promised land, Joshua. And under Joshua's leadership, they conquered Canaan, and God fulfilled his promise to Abraham through his servant Joshua. And then the land after they conquered, Joshua divided the land into 12 tribes of Israel. After this are the period of the Judges, and the key verse in the Judges is this, that everyone did what was pleasing into their own eyes. So they would sin against God, God would punish them, and they will cry to the Lord, repent, and God will rise a judge. One of the most faithful judge is Samuel, and he will rise a judge to lead his people into, again, victory, and then they will sin again, they will disobey again, they will worship idols again, and God will punish them again, God will rise a judge again, and then they will again have victory. So it's a cycle of disobedience, cry, and then God will deliver them. And after that is the united monarchy. It's in 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, and 1st Chronicles. And this is the time wherein the people of God doesn't want God to lead them. They want an earthly king, a physical king, just like their neighboring countries. So because of their demand, God gave into their demand, raised a king in the person of Saul. Saul becomes the first king of Israel, and also after the failure of King Saul, David was raised as the next king and followed by his son Solomon. And during this time, the time of Solomon is the golden age of Israel. It is marked by unity, there is peace around them, no battle with their enemies, and there is also the building of the temple in Jerusalem. But because of that wealth and the grandeur of that golden age, also during that time, Solomon raised the taxes. and the people started to complain and rebel against. So it resulted to the divided kingdom. So the divided kingdom now, after Solomon's death, the kingdom splits into two. Israel in the north, composed of the 10 tribes, and then in the south, it is composed of the tribe of Benjamin and Judah. Both kingdoms experienced periods of rebellion against God, leading to prophetic warning. So after the northern kingdom was taken by the Assyrians in 721 BC, that northern kingdom is gone. They were not able to regather or return. That's why there is a book now that is written, the history of the United Kingdom and the United States of America, the 10 Lost Tribes by the Tomorrow's World. So Judah later falls also to Babylon. If the northern kingdom, which has Samaria as capital, was captured by the Assyrians in 721 BC. Just more than a century after that, 605 BC, then Nebuchadnezzar came and also captured Jerusalem, the southern kingdom, composed of Judah and the Benjamites. So the first batch of the Jews were taken to Babylon, including Prophet Daniel. And we can read that in Daniel 1:1-4. And in 597 BC, so Nebuchadnezzar captured Jerusalem, put a leader on that will submit to his authority, and when they don't, he again attacked Jerusalem and had the second deportation in 597 BC of about 10,000 Jews, including Ezekiel. After the second deportation, again, when King Zedekiah, the one read by Diane, did not again follow through with his commitment to King Nebuchadnezzar, it made Nebuchadnezzar really furious. And he came, and this time, not only that he sieged, but he destroyed Jerusalem, and he destroyed Solomon's temple in 586 BC. So, Jeremiah 25:1-11 says, and this is the warning of prophet Jeremiah. He said, "And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and this nation shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Before the exile happened, there were already warning from the prophets, and that is what we read in 2 Chronicles a while ago. The prophets have been warning and warning, but the people were ignoring and despising the prophets and their warnings. So, then it will come to pass when 70 years are completed that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, the land of the Chaldeans, for their iniquity, saith the Lord, and I will make it a perpetual desolation." So now, they were captured, or they were taken by the Babylonians, the Jews, Judah and the Benjamites. They were taken to Babylon for 70 years. And it was prophesied before it even happened by the pre-exilic prophet. When we say pre-exilic prophet, the prophet who prophesied before the 70 years of captivity. Who are they? Isaiah, Jeremiah, and the Obadiah. So, during this exile, God raised, as He promised to Prophet Jeremiah, as written by Prophet Jeremiah, He promised that they will be liberated after 70 years. And He raised a king to the world scene during the time to conquer King Nebuchadnezzar or defeat King Nebuchadnezzar. And that is King Cyrus. And immediately, just as what is written in our Bible, just as what is written in our Bible, according to God, that He will bring to the scene King Cyrus, and King Cyrus is the one who will proclaim a decree that these people can return. See, I'm reading a church history, and it's written there that when King Cyrus invaded Babylon, he came not as a conqueror. He tries his best to come in peace, just like a liberator, not a conqueror. That's why he decreed that these people who were once held here in Babylon for 70 years now are allowed to return, and they can even rebuild their temple. So it is the hand of God. It is the hand of God. So they return from exile now. So the decree was given. It's 539 BC when King Cyrus of Persia conquered Babylon, and then the decree to return was in 538 BC. And the first group of Jews to return to Judah under the leadership of Zerubbabel is in 537 BC. And in this group is Zechariah, is Zerubbabel, is Joshua the high priest. And here we have to note that Zechariah, in Zechariah chapter 2, says that he is young. So it means that Zechariah did not see the temple of Solomon. Zechariah could have been born during the captivity in Babylon. So, but his lineage, Iddo, his grandfather, is a priest. And then Zedekiah are also maybe a priest. So now we can see that Zechariah is very passionate with the temple. Why? Because priests are passionate with the temple, because this is where the presence of God is during the Old Testament. So here, in 536 BC, they start to rebuild the temple. And Prophet Haggai is a contemporary of Zechariah, just few months, earlier than Zechariah. And he already prophesied, Haggai prophesied already and encouraged the people to rebuild the temple. And in what they did is they started at 536 BC, but they stopped. The construction of the temple stopped. So God raised Zechariah to prophesy to these returnees, not to forget to rebuild the temple, but the way Zechariah approached the returnees is not to just encourage them to rebuild, but rather for them to rebuild their covenant relationship with their God. That is how he approached it. So they continued, the temple resumed in 520 BC, and then the temple is finished in 512 BC. Now you know where we are in our Old Testament Bible timeline.